All right. Once again, welcome to Global Content Writers Bootcamp, and I'm so excited to welcome us to today. We are in day 3, and if it has been worth it for you, can I see your emoji? Like you've not been wasting your time. It's been 2 days, and you are here again on the 3rd day. Is it worth the ride? Beautiful, so much love. Thank you, everyone. Beautiful. All right, let's dive right in so that we'll be able to touch on it. There was something I said that I was going to tell us yesterday, where tips on writing your book I wanted to touch yesterday that I couldn't touch, and I said we will start from there today, right? Where did I put it? Okay. Okay. I think I'm mixing up the where I kept that note. I'll find it. I'll definitely share it with us. All right. So, but today we are talking about editing, how you can, write your book in a way that to be near perfect. If you were here on the first day when we were doing case studies of contents, where you see poor content and you see the transformed content. There was this content we read on I think, let me look for it. Oh, I didn't open the documents I need. There was this one we read that was so good. One could say it's just good to go. So for those of us who are creators, of course, all of us are, like, why you are on this call is not because you want to go and become an editor. You simply want to know how to write your book and write it to the best of your knowledge. So that is how your book should come out at the end of the day, before you need any help. All right. So let me see if I can get that content and read it again. I need to share my screen. A moment. Let me know when you start seeing my screen. Can you see my screen? Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so look at that content we read that day. This is how I expect those of us who just want to know how to write our book well enough, at the end of this class, at the end of this entire training, when you write, it should come out the way, in the quality of this content I'm about to read. And for those who want to build the skill of editing, by the time we are done with this class, it should come out like the transformed version of this content I'm about to read. All right. So now that content, that's introduction that really came out well, that one can say this is good to go, was the introduction of a parenting book called The Conscious Parent's Guide. When because I said so isn't enough. So this is what the writer wrote. Every parent has experienced that moment Your child looks you in the eye and asks, why? For the 5th time, and you are out of explanations. You are exhausted. You just need them to listen. So those 4 faithful words slip out, because I said so. In that moment, you are not alone. In my 20 years as a family therapist, working with over 3,000 families, I have heard these scenarios described in nearly every initial consultation. What's happening is this in this moment isn't just about stubborn children or frustrated parents. It's about a communication gap that, when bridged, can transform your family dynamics forever. This book doesn't just offer theories for perfect parenting. Instead, I will share practical communication frameworks that have helped real families move from power struggle to partnership, even during the most challenging developmental stages. The approaches in these pages have been tested and refined in living rooms, just like yours, with parents just as tired as you are, facing challenges just as complex as the ones you face today. What do you have to say about this? How do you see it? If you have been in the class from day one, mention the writing mindset and skill sets that you need to employ to author a masterpiece that this writer incorporated in this book introduction. I'm waiting. So at the end of the class, after this editing beyond tenses, this is how well your writing should come out. I'm waiting. I'm actually waiting for feedback. Are we together?
Yeah, there was clarity in her writing, and I think how do I put it? You know, like emotion of the reader. She just wanted the reader to feel the same way she felt, so that
Yes.
the reader will understand where she was coming from.
Okay. So we can say that. So it is safe to say that she employed reader's first mentality. She wrote for your people.
Yes.
All right. Let the person that has the noisy background mute, please. All right. So what else? What other thing can you pick out? Skill set and the mindset of writing a masterpiece that is captured in this book.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, is audience centered, and at the end of the book, she made mention of what we are expected to learn from
Beautiful, beautiful.
Yes.
So the writer was able to identify a problem and promised a solution, a guaranteed solution. And also, the writer also showed authority and credibility by identifying her expertise as a therapist, and have helped thousands of families. All right. So credibility, authority, reader-centered, clarity in expression, identified problem, assured solution, and the story, the entry, that little highlight, the story she entered with, all these things put together makes it something that you want to read and you want to see the end of it. So that's how I expect everyone who have participated in this training, when you write, let it come out like that. All right. So now, for those who want to build career in writing and editing in particular. Now look at the transformed version of this seemingly perfect write-up. All right. So that is where I want you to get to at the end of this class. When, because I said as both a child psychologist and a mother of 3 spectacularly stubborn children, I have been exactly where you are, exhausted, frustrated, and secretly wondering if everyone else's case came with better instruction manuals than yours. All right. Here is what 2 decades of working with more than 3,000 families has taught me. The most effective parents aren't the ones who never yell or who craft pin interest perfect disciplined charts. The most effective parents are the ones who understand what's actually happening in their child's developing brain and adjust their approach accordingly. This isn't another book of impossible standards from someone whose children seem suspiciously perfect. It's a reality-based guide for real parents with real kids who sometimes make really questionable decisions, like using your toothbrush to clean the toilet or cutting their own hair before picture day. Each chapter tackles a specific challenging behavior, from deviance to sibling rivalry to those public meltdowns that make you consider changing your name and moving to another state. You will learn why your 4-year-old can recite complex dinosaur facts, but seemingly can't remember the rule about not hitting when angry. How to decode the real message behind annoying behaviors and respond to what your child really needs. Simple scripts for those moments when every nerve in your body is screaming, because I said so. How to protect your relationship with your child while still holding boundaries. If you are looking for quick fixes or ways to make your child blindly obedient, this isn't your book. But if you are ready for strategies that actually work, even when you are exhausted, even when you are at your wit's end, then turn the pages. Your whole family deserves better than because I said so. That is how it should come out if you really learn what I will teach you now. Relatable opening scenario establishes author's dual credibility, both as a professional, that is a psychologist, and personally as a mother of 3. Then acknowledges readers' real feelings, validates the frustration, exhaustion, and comparison we often, get into as parents. You feel like your children are not good enough, and you look at other people's children as more composed and all of that. Then there is clear value proposition that he even, highlighted them in a list of it. Addresses readers' objection. All right. Structured, scannable format, emotional connection, even sense of humor. You can imagine when he said using your toothbrush to do what again? And then defines the reader's journey. So the reader's journey is that reader, that parent is going to move from being frustrated, being lost, to becoming an equipped parent with the practical strategies that this author promises to share in the book. All right. So we have 2 groups of people on call. 1, creators who just want to write their book in a professional way. And two, writers and editors who want to upscale their editorial skill. So whatever place you are, this class is set to move you from where you used to be to a place of more skill, more clarity, more strategy, hands-on tips and guide that will help you to produce a better masterpiece that when people start reading it, they don't want to stop until they get to the end of it. All right. So get your notes like mine. Okay. I didn't prepare slides. I'm teaching you from my notes, and then we will go into our case studies. I'll be using real books, to show you case studies of editing work, edited work. All right. So first of all, I asked myself, what have I learned? This is my personal inspiration. What have I learned from my experience as an editor in the past 2 to 3 years? All right. And as I thought about them, these are the points I came up with. Number one, I realized that being an expert in a field is different from having the ability to communicate that knowledge in a book form. And I want you to know that, creators, that you are a medical doctor, that you are a therapist, that you are an educator, that you are a parenting coach, that you are, whatever it is that is your industry. That knowledge you have, that you are an expert in that field, is one thing. Then the ability to communicate that knowledge in writing, in book form, is entirely a different thing. This is something I have seen experientially. When I see experts, coaches give me their manuscripts, and I'm like, I know you know these things, but I'm not seeing them. You have not expressed them well. Then I now have to draft a guide, ask them questions to bring out the information, the facts, the gold. If you have heard the review, I don't know, if I've not tried playing video when on call before, but if I'm sharing my screen, then I think I can send the video and play it. If you've heard the review of Coach Cynthia, the sexual intelligence coach for teenagers, intelligence coach, or is it conscious parenting something? I've forgotten her brand name. She will beat me if she hear this record. All right. So when she said she thought she has finished writing the book as an expert now, and then I told her I wish I could see this was not the laptop I used before, but her book is the case study I'm going to show you today on some of the points I'll be sharing. All right. So in her own words, she said she believed that she has finished the book. Sometime when all these experts come, they'll just say, proofread this book for me. Just see if there's any grammar errors. And by the time I let them know that the book is not complete, it's either unnecessary chapters are there or the right chapters are not there. So by the time I looked at the book, I said, chapter 1 is not, you can go and ask Coach Cynthia. The title of the book was The Sexually Intelligent Teenager. And where the book started, chapter 1 was not there. I said, chapter 1 is not here. You need to have the chapter 1 as Introduction to Sexual Intelligence, where you really explain to your reader what sexual intelligence is. As a teenager, what does it mean for you to be a sexually intelligent teenager? How can someone read the book and at the end of the day, the person cannot, identify and say, okay, I think with this, I have seen these qualities, these characteristics, I'm sexually intelligent. Or if I'm to tick these boxes, I'm not sexually intelligent, I need to cultivate that. You know, there was no sexual harassment, handling sexual harassment and sexual abuse in the manuscript. I say, no, you can't talk about becoming a sexually intelligent teenager, and at the end of the day, you don't teach your reader, these young people, how to handle, how to even identify when somebody is harassing them sexually, how to identify when somebody is intimidating them, abusing them sexually, and how to handle sexual harassment. It has to be here, you know. And she was like, really? I didn't even, we removed the chapters that are not supposed to be in the book. Goal setting had no business with that book. Future plans had no business with that book. We removed those chapters, and I started bringing in what she should write. I said, give me this definition. Give me this story to back up this. From your experience, you have met a lot of young people. This point you are talking about, I want entry story for every chapter. Don't speak grammar to these teenagers. They have to understand it practically, what you mean. They may not remember the definition, but they will remember the story you told to drive home a point. Oh, why didn't I pick that book? Is it close by? I think I can get. This is the book, The Sexually Intelligent Teenager. If you're a mother of teenagers, if you're a father of a teenager, if you're a parent, you can even buy it and gift a nephew, a cousin. Because Cynthia did a great job here. Yes, I recommend this book. This is my copy. I have copy for my teenager, and this one that I kept here is for my little ones that are still coming up. So I kept it very, very well. I don't even want to hear story, you know. So the chapter here, look at the chapter structure. I'm not sure I'll be able to find the manuscript she gave me, but this is the outcome. The chapter structure, we have chapter 1. I'm teaching you already on the proper way your book should flow. When you want to. Editing beyond tenses means that the first thing is structure. Content structure is the real work. That's what I want you to take home. You can go to Google or go to Alison or what is it called, and go and learn basic grammar. There are free courses on English everywhere. But I am here to teach you the work in editing beyond tenses, beyond present and past tense. All right. So the main work, what I call content structural editing, that is the first thing I do. The rest of the things I walk over. Grammarly can help you fix it most times. All right. Even though you don't follow it, who can sink. All right. So you have Introduction to Sexual Intelligence as the first chapter. The second is embracing your true sexual identity. The third chapter, understanding your body and the changes you are experiencing as a teenager. 4, body positivity and self-love. 5, identifying and handling sexual harassment and sexual abuse. 6, setting boundaries and communicating your boundaries assertively as a teenager. 7, value for consent and respect in relationships. 8, cultivating healthy relationships and identifying unhealthy ones. 9, dealing with peer pressure and media influences. 10, sexual purity, healthy decision to make as a sexually intelligent teenager. 11, seeking help and support, learn how to speak up. 12, setting future goals. Then we have final words and references. That is structure. Let me know you are learning. So how would this book be if chapter 1 wasn't there, if chapter 5 wasn't there, if chapter 8 wasn't there? Disconnected. It will disappoint the reader, because the reader will end up not, at the end of the day, you are finished reading the book, The name is sexually intelligent teenager, but you don't know who is the sexually intelligent teenager. Can you describe a sexually intelligent teenager? Okay, if you are being harassed, how will you know? How do you handle abuse? She knew all those things. But that you are an expert is different from communicating your knowledge in writing. So you need to understand this content structuring for you to be able to express what you already know in a structural flow that helps you to achieve your goal, to solve that problem you want to solve for your target audience. So you don't end up wasting your time and somebody read your piece and they sigh and say, this person is just beating around the bush. Why did I waste my money? All right. So point number one, note it down. Being an expert in a field is different from having the ability to communicate that knowledge in a book form. Number two thing I've learned in my editorial journey is talking, or rather speaking, is potentially different from writing, book writing in particular. All right, talking, speaking is different. It's potentially different when it comes to different from writing book in particular. All right, you know, we can be gisting. You know how we used to tell movie stories those days? I'll be telling, maybe let me use Coach Vera. I'll be telling him, have you watched that movie? And he'll be telling almost when you are about to end, you know, say, hey, I remember something. There's one I did not tell you before the other thing happened. There was this other. You cannot write book like that. You can't take us when we when we are almost coming to the peak. You will now say you forgot something. You want to take us back. Does not work like that. We can tell movie stories. that before that guy did that, the girl did that. You have to follow a flow, consistency. You can't afford to break the you will just distort the message and bore your readers. So your book has to follow a structural flow. And if you are editing, it has to the content has to flow from one point to another point. You don't just do what's supposed to be in chapter 2. You'll be writing chapter 5 and 7. Then you come in chapter 8 and you start telling us what you're supposed to tell us in chapter 2. That's not it. You can tell movie story like that and we'll take it from you when you are talking to us. If you are gisting us, no, but not in book writing. All right. Point number 3. Editing is a creative work that demands deep thinking and heart involvement to understand the intent of the writer and the expectation and hope of the reader. I will say that again. Editing is a creative work that demands deep thinking and heart involvement to understand, 1, the intent of the writer and the expectation, that is the second point, of the reader. All right. So understanding the intent of the writer is one thing. Knowing the expectation of the reader is another thing. And these two expectations, these two intents have to be together. So if you are the one writing your book, you need to understand well enough your intent and also understand the expectation of your readers so that you'll be able to deliver a masterpiece. All right. So then if you are editing for someone else, you have to understand your client's intent. That's why I don't just jump into editing book. I will ask you first, what inspired you to write this book? I need to know the story behind it, because it's that story, that inspiration, that is your why, that is your drive. It is that thing that motivated you to start that writing. That is the message you want to integrate, you want to embed into every line. That is the central message you want you know, to sink into the heart of your reader. I need to know it. I don't just pick a book and then I started I will now start editing it, you know, just like that. If I have worked with you here, you will attest to that. I want to know the story. Why are you writing this book? If the I don't know if dear Priscilla is on call from United American Emirates.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. I had to ask her, the book Emerge, what does emerge mean to you? I didn't just go to Google and say, okay, she said the title is Emerge. Then now let me go and ask Google. Because what's the definition in the dictionary may not be exactly what is in her heart. And she told me for her to emerge mean to rise, to awaken. That's not the definition you will see online. And I asked her, why? What is the story that inspired this book, Emerge? And she shared the story with me. So with that story in mind, with the source of the inspiration in mind, and her definition of the word emerge, I started editing the book. At the end of the day, what does she have to say? You spoke my language, simply because I understand the intent of the writer and the expectation of the readers, because she has described the people she is writing that book for. Are you getting value? All right. So if you want to build career in writing, career in editing, don't just collect people's masterpiece and put it on Grammarly and everything that Grammarly underline for you. You tick apply, 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 or you take it to ChatGPT or Claude or any AI and just say edit nicely, and they will edit it nicely for you. You download it, format it, and send it to your editors, to your clients. Sorry, that's not it. Please don't do that. All right. So ask questions, get into the person's story, get into the person's, you know, heart intent. Yes, edit nicely. That is the prompt. When you don't want AI to change so much, you just say edit nicely. And the AI will edit it nicely. You have not edited anything. Anybody can do that. You know. So it takes editing your work takes this understanding I'm telling you now. Content structure. The correcting of sentences is the last thing. That is the final furnishing. And if you are thinking of building a career in writing or editing, please, before you start changing anything in somebody's manuscript, embody the person's message. And you can't know it until you ask. Ask reasonable, creative questions that will get you into the heart of the person who you are working with, so that you will know what the person is thinking, what the person wants to communicate, you know, and then you embody the message and express that content in the person's language. It's not your book. Please, editors and writers, when somebody give you work, something to write, ask question. It's not your book. It's not your story. You can't just cook up anything you like or use your own grammar. No, I try to understand what the person wants to communicate. Listen to the person. Listen. Many times I will go and play the voice notes the person using explaining why he or she is writing the book. I'll go and listen to it over and over again. I will listen to it and sleep. Wake up, think about it. So when I'm writing, if the person's word usage is evolve, even if I was to use impact, transition, if I'm the one that owns the book, I will use the person's word. Okay, evolve. She said that for her, emerge means to rise, to awaken. So every line of that book, I started incorporating, embedding that insight. Arise, awaken, and awakening. going beyond your background, the story that inspired it. I embed that message, that heart, into every chapter. So you cannot read one chapter without understanding what emerge means to Priscilla, because I understood the message she wants to pass across. All right. So that is, by the way, the fourth point. Okay. The fourth point is editing is beyond correction of tenses. I've already said that. Punctuation, grammar. It is first determining and ensuring the clarity, alignment, and resonance of the author's writing in relation to the reader's perspective. I will read that again. Editing is beyond correction of tenses, punctuation marks, grammar. All right, just list all those lessons and structure in English. It is first, that is the primary thing. First is determining and ensuring clarity, 1, alignment, 2, resonance, 3, of the author's writing in relation to the reader's perspective. I'll read it for the third time for those who are writing. I wish I had the time to prepare slides, but I didn't get the time, and I'm using my notes the way I wrote it. Editing is beyond correction of tenses, punctuation, grammar. The list continues. It is first determining and ensuring clarity, alignment, and resonance of the author's writing in relation to the reader's perspective. I think the previous point helped to explain this point also. All right. So let it be clear. Let there be clarity. Let there be alignment. Let there be resonance. Just like the case study I was sharing with you. If you pick a book, The Sexually Intelligent Teenager, a reader will have expectation. If not many things, the reader will want to understand, will expect that by the time I read this book, I will know what it means to be sexually intelligent. By the time I read this book, I will know how to handle my sexuality. All right. So it's because I understand that. That was why I was able to identify missing chapters in the manuscript. Because I understand that the reader's perspective of a title like this will be to understand what is sexual intelligence and the attribute of a sexually intelligent teenager, to be able to assess his or herself, him or herself, to say, am I sexually intelligent? Okay. Okay, can I handle, do I have boundaries? Do I have boundaries in my friendship? How assertive am I when somebody is doing something I don't like? How assertive am I to say no? You know, and all of that. The teenager will be able to evaluate his or her own self. And there are worksheets, questions, you know, we designed worksheet in it to really help the teenagers to apply what they will learn, you know, in the book. And again, I recommend this book to every parent, because Cynthia will have to pay me for this advert. All right. So that is it. Point number 5. Editing is the middle point that ensures agreement between the problem a writer is trying to solve and the people who need the solution. Editing is the middle point that ensures agreement between the problem the writer is trying to solve and the need, the solution, the people that the book is for, you know, is expecting to have solved. All right. The explanation I've been giving over and over again explains that point. It's so clear. Number 6, I want us to run. Editing is the phrase in writing that blends and aligns the author's message with the predetermined objective of the book and the story that led to the writing. I'll repeat that. Editing is the phase in writing that blends and aligns the author's message with the predetermined objective of the book and the story that led to it. All right. Why are you writing the book? That point of clarity, definition of objective, is the first thing to do. If you are an educator, you know you cannot transfer knowledge without stating your lesson objective. That is the first thing you put in your lesson plan. At the end of this lesson, the learner should be able to this, you know, and it will now guide you to begin to structure your lesson. What will be your end behavior? What will be your entry behavior? What will be, you know, the step by step you will follow to, you know, to communicate, to pass on that knowledge. I'm doing a course this final semester of my program. The course title is Partial Differential Equation. I'm studying mathematics. All right. So, and we've had 2 lectures now, and my note is filled with lots of exercises, lots of assignments. The man will say, review this, review product rule, review chain rule, solve this. After reviewing it, only for him to tell me that we still have 1 more topic to do, tell us that we still have 1 more topic to do, and then we will now enter partial differential equation proper. Like, seriously. So all this thing that is in my notes, we are just trying to build the foundation to enter the course outline. You know, that is what it means to be a writer. In that sense, now a teacher. You are able to bring the reader from a place, give the reader a good foundation to be able to assimilate the message you want to pass across. You don't assume. All right? We are not mind reader. You don't assume that if you just start telling them, you need to be strong, you need to be resilient, whatever come your way, you need to. You assume that they know your story. You believe that, no. So that foundation has to be there, you know. And if you want to write a masterpiece like that, first part of that parenting book we read, as an author, as a creator, bear this in mind. And if you are doing it as an editor, understand that when you get your client manuscript, you should understand that your client message and the objective, so that you will be able to carry the reader on a journey. All right. So I've given you good case studies. All right. Just like I mentioned, the upcoming book of one of us, Mrs. Priscilla, Emerge. I'm recommending Emerge. It's not out yet, but the soft copy will soon be out. She's not in Nigeria. You may not get it like this, except she put it on Amazon. When do you want to publish your book, dear?
Yeah, next month, ma, like June 12th.
June 12th.
Thank you so much, ma.
I've not gotten your feedback. I need your feedback so I can effect it on in my copy. If that goal is feasible, then I should start getting feedback from you on the first draft.
Okay. Thank you so much.
All right. So editing is the phase in your writing that blends and aligns the author's message with the predetermined objective. Ask that your client, at the end of the day, what do you want to pass across? What is the lesson? What is the message? What is the transformation you want to bring about in the lives of your readers? Let the person say, okay, I want the reader to be able to become confident, to regain his or her self-esteem, to do, to be able to see this. Then with that in mind, you begin to align the communication of the book writing to achieve that goal. All right, so you will not just be babbling. And then the last point the seventh point on the things I've learned on my journey as an editor is that editing is the fleshing up of an author's skeletal idea into a full blooming masterpiece that answers to its name. I'll repeat. Editing is the fleshing up of an author's skeletal idea into a full blooming masterpiece that answers to its name. And the case study is Boxes to Tick Before You Walk Down the Aisle by Nurse Kate Binsong. Let me look for it. I'm recommending that book to young people, single brothers and sisters. See how I'm marketing for my clients. They will pay me. Any of the book I've mentioned that you want, just beep me. I will connect you to the author. Is that okay? Where will I find it? To be in content blog. Are you with me? Hello, are you there?
Yes.
ma'am.
Can you see my
Yeah,
screen?
we are
Where you
here.
see my screen? Hello?
We can hear you.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So now, talking about fleshing up, you could get, for those who want to build career in writing and editing, or even all of us here, we are creators. When you are doing your first writing, don't try to be writing and editing at the same time. That is one of the tips. I'm sharing it now. So that because you have learned all these things now, you want to write your book, then you want to get it perfect from day one. As you are writing, you want it to be perfect. You want to be writing and editing at the same time. You're not going to finish that book. All right. So one of the tips you need to keep in mind is that feel free to sketch your first drafts anyhow it comes. You don't even have to follow a sequential order. Like you know that chapter 1 should be this and chapter 2 is this. And then you are getting inspiration on writing chapter 5. Then you shut down the inspiration because you want to follow that you must write chapter 2, then chapter 3. No, go ahead and write chapter 5. Go ahead and write chapter 3. Go ahead and write chapter 10. Go ahead and write, as the inspiration comes. Then you can now pull them together. You know where what and what should be. That is one tip you should know in writing, and I'm giving you. So you will not stay there. You get stuck in chapter 2. You are lacking inspiration. You know how to craft what you want to write in chapter 2, but you know what to do in chapter 6. Then you will dump the book because you have not written chapter 2. Who said you must write chapter 2 before you write chapter 6? No. Just go ahead and craft your draft. Write it as it comes. It can be in pieces, and then you put them together. All right, please take note. That's one of the reasons why some persons have not authored the book, because they got stuck somewhere and they now shut down inspiration to write the one that they understand how to, So now I'll show you in a glance this 20-page book. Are you seeing my screen? Are you seeing my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, this was the manuscript at a glance. Are you seeing it?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And this is the book.
Wow.
The manuscript It's a 20 pages draft, and the finished book is it's a 102 pages masterpiece. How does that align? A moment, please. Now, talking about the point I mentioned now, just give me a moment. Let me plug my laptop. It's getting low. I said fleshing out, fleshing up your idea. If you are the one writing and editing for yourself, feel free to make that first draft. Let it look scanty. Let it look unorganized. Let it look disorganized, rather. Let it look, like unlikely thing to be useful. Just like that draft. Let it look anyhow you want to look. Just get that idea out. It had no introduction. It had no chapter outline. There was no structure. There was no, what's the word now? No form. It was void. Let's quote Genesis chapter 1. Yes. And Mr. Nathaniel was there. He happened to be with me at the time I did that project. We listened to it together. I said, let's listen to this book. We played it. We listened to it. I said, read the book. She read it. He read it. I read the book. I read the book again. And then it was reading the book over and over again that I drafted the content, the book outline, and was able to tell her this is what and what need to be there. If you are a young person or you work with young people, I'm serious, you need to get that book. The lady has a very unpopular opinion about boxes to tick before you walk the aisle. Her perspective, let me get that book again and show you. Her perspective is unpopular. She's she's called Psych Nurse. You can even check her up on Facebook. See how I'm promoting my clients. I'm so gracious. All right. So boxes to tick before walking down the aisle. And her perspective is on the comprehensive guide to premarital health screening. So you will have several books that will tell you you need to, talking about spirituality, talking about different aspects, talking about character, talking about other kind of red flags and all of that. But this writer, this author, took the perspective to another level, leveraging on her expertise as a nurse and a psychologist now. There is an aspect of coaching she specializes in that industry. With her experience, she told several stories of her encounters with young couples and intending couples who had no clue about the health of their partner before they got married. Somebody is discovering the partner is SS on the wedding date or after traditional marriage. And the crisis in marriages because of those negligence, when we spiritualize everything and not even do a checkup to even know what you are trusting God for. All right. So she's able to come from that perspective to teach young people understanding health in marriage, dispelling myths and misconceptions, genetic compatibility, blood group compatibility, genetic genotype screening, and sexual transmitted diseases, resource factors, and all of that. And what we did We didn't just write theories. I researched as if I was a health specialist. Got facts, got statistics, got images to illustrate the point of my client and make the book such that it will not be a boring textbook. Put stories. You not see it as a boring textbook on health screening, no? I'm looking for something. Yes, visual expression of the things you are talking about. It's not all the book we put this, but when we see the places that they are necessary, look at that. So that a layman, somebody who is not medically inclined, will be able to understand it. You don't need to be a doctor or a medical personnel for you to understand what this lady shared in this book. We made it as simple as possible and put illustrations, put stories, put statistics, because you will not just be saying, you know, human immune virus, this and that. We need to get some facts. This kind of book require facts. So it is very important, if you are building career in writing and editing, for you to understand the need of every kind. Look at that. Look at the pictorial illustration of hepatitis B and C, how the healthy liver is, how the liver have been affected by hepatitis looks like. I got all these images just to communicate what my client, look at that. I got all these images. It's not my field. But when I will tell you about the skills you need as an editor, research skill is part of it. Anybody in any industry can come to you. You will not say you don't know what to do in this world of technology. Embody what the person wants to teach and go ahead and bring in the necessary upgrade, you know. So that is why I said I have learned that my work as an editor, as a writer, as a content coach is to help flesh up the skeletal, you know, just that scanty, uncoordinated, structured manuscript or just an idea. I have written book for clients from voice notes. Person only gave me voice notes, and I produced a book. So it's fleshing out that idea into a masterpiece that answers to its name. When you give a book a name, let it answer to its name. When we say that something answers to its name, it means that it is what it said it is. When God said, I am that I am. All right. So this is just lesson 1. All right. So lesson number 2, what you should know as an editor. The lesson number 1, all the things I've shared with you, the 7 points I've shared with you now, they are all the things I have learned on my journey as an editor. All right. So now I'm telling you what you need to know. All right. When you are writing your book and you want it to come out as a masterpiece, if you are not trying to be an editor, remember I said we are in 2 classes here. You want to write your book well, that it will be so good that even if you feel like you don't want editorial service, you will not disappoint your readers. It will be good to go. All right. And then 2, if you want to acquire this as a skill and help others to furnish their book, this is it for you. All right. So for those who want to do it for themselves, I am telling you what you need to know for you to properly edit your book to come out as a masterpiece. All right. And then for those who do it for others, I'm telling you now what you need to do for you to present your client with a masterpiece. Point number 1, your client is depending on you to bring out the best in them. So if you are doing it for yourself, we, your honorable readers, we are depending on you to bring out the best of your idea by the time Where am I getting all this notification from? By the time you finish that book work and you are ready to bring it out to us, we want to see that you brought out the best in yourself, the best you could have, you know. So all these points I've been listing, 7 points. I'm not seeing it in the chat, or you are writing it in your notes. I hope you are writing. All right, so let's keep the group engaged as much as possible too. So point number 2 that you need to know as an editor: your client has more to say than he or she has said, and is hoping you understand him or her. All right? Yeah, your client is hoping that you just read their mind to help them express their intent in their own language, not your own language. You see, it's a big demand. And the funny thing is that, look at her. He said, that's true. I've done several projects with Mrs. Priscilla. I'll ask her, what is wrong with this book? She will tell me, somebody has edited this book before. This book has been edited 2 times, but I'm not satisfied. I say, what is the matter? What exactly do you want changed? Like, what is the... She says she doesn't know. She doesn't know what is the matter, but she knows that the book is not ready for publishing. She needs it edited. What do you want me to edit? She don't know. So she taught me that. Oh my God, this woman is... She taught me that she's hoping that I just read her mind. She's hoping that I just, understand by myself, and speak her language and not my language. That's one person that gave me that review first time. She said, I knew something was not right. But you could not say what was it. I knew something that was not right. Oh, thank you so much. You speak my language. So that is what your client is expecting from you, to understand their heart. They may not even know how to express what exactly they want, but they are expecting, they are hoping that you just speak that signal like an echo, and be able to express their intention in their language, not your language. You not just come and start writing what you feel like. Just like when somebody tell you this is my book title, then you go and start defining it according to Chrome. No, you need to understand the person's perspective of that word. Because what emerge, transition, evolve, impact, balance, just name it. What a word means to you may not be what it means to me. The inspiration, the insight, the story that inspires a word usage for me may not be it for you. All right? So don't just think you know the meaning of that word and you want to run with it and embedding it into somebody's book. All right? So number 3, you need to understand the story that is the trigger. I call the story the trigger behind the author's idea. That's why I always ask, what inspired this? Why are you saying this? Why do you want to share this? There will always be a story. Either something that happened to that person or something you observed that happened to another person. There's always a story. And I call that story the trigger of that message, So you need to understand that story behind the author's idea if you will be a professional editor. Point number 4, your client is looking to you to validate his or her idea. Your client is looking to you to validate his or her idea. Oh, the book is not close to me. I did a work with my personal development coach, my beloved big sis, Coach Ogobeli, the co-founder of Faith Things Organization, the chairman of PDAC Foundation, the Foundation for Personal Development of African Children. She has authored over 150 titles. I know it's over that because the upcoming boot camp, 31 days boot camp for preteens and teenagers. Every day we have new book to read for children, and it's different from the 144 titles that she already have. So it will be safe to say that she has authored close to 200 books. The book I'm talking about is not close to me, that I want to use to validate, to talk about this point. Your client is looking to you to validate his or her idea. And that book, the title is Growth is Personal. Yes, growth is personal. Some of us who are around Faith Things or around me, you know, I always talk about her. And she's in our community, the Women of Mom Impact. And then I have some Legacy Mastermind members here too. All right. So growth is personal. As you know, self-aware, confident, skilled as she is, that beautiful masterpiece, she felt like, are you sure this book is good enough? And she needed me to validate her idea. She needed me to go through that book and assure her that it's not just another piece, you know. And by the time I touched on the book, she told me, I just sent it straight to the printer. So as an editor, your client is looking to you to validate his or her idea. They may come feeling not confident enough that this perspective or this idea or this storyline or this content is not good enough, or like what impact will it make. You should be able to help in the structuring of that manuscript to answer to its name and bring it out in a way that will strengthen the confidence of your client. That just like her, you can just send this straight to the printer, you know. That is it. They need your validation to help structure that book, improve on it, and validate the idea that this is it and is going to answer to its name. All right. So potentially, as an editor, you are a coach. All right. So that's by the way. So, and then point number 5 that you need to do is that your client needs your expertise to unleash his or her inspiration. Your client needs your expertise, and that is where the skills comes in. Then lesson number 3 is, what are the necessary skills you need as an editor, or you are a creator? What are the necessary skills you need as a creator to bring out, you know, masterpiece when you write, whether it's writing a book or writing educational posts, you know, on your social media handle, or even writing a script for presentation? All these things are applicable. Number 1 skill you need is critical thinking. I will not spend much time to begin to, how far have we gone with our time? Okay, we have 14 more minutes. I'll not spend more time to begin to define those words. They are clear. They are everyday words. Critical thinking. You need to think. To think deeply. You need to be to think, you know, beyond lines, beyond facial what is the word now? Facial judgment. You don't just look at things and say, okay, oh, there is mic here, and then there's mic here. Could it be 3 mics? You have to read the instructions and be sure that it is what it's looking like. All right. Then number 2, list these skills. You can go online and take mini courses that can help you to develop them. All right. Critical thinking, 1. Number 2, creative thinking. You need to be creative. It takes creativity for you to turn one line to 10 sentences, for you to turn 10 pages to 100 pages. It's not magic. It's not AI. It's creativity. All right? Skill number 3, research skills. I've edited books. I worked with a client who is sharing her testimony of surviving from stage 3 cancer. I had to research about cancer, conventional treatment of cancer, as if I'm a medical person, just to understand how those things work, to be able to express the message that my client wants to express in a particular chapter. So you need research skills, know where to find what. All right? Doing boxes to tick, I had to go and start reading reports, see statistics on sickle cell, this one, research factor, genotype mismatch, and all of that. Got images, illustrated her point and everything. That is a necessary skill. Point number 5, intelligent AI usage skill. That's how I call it. Intelligent AI usage skill. Why I said the word intelligence, that I told you the other day, use AI. Don't let AI use you. By the time you drop your brain and stop thinking, stop being logical, stop being creative, and you just bring a plain mind and come and be doing automated messages, we will see the disconnection. AI is not human. It doesn't carry the emotion. It doesn't carry the psychology. It doesn't carry the resonance. Even if it is a social media post, if I see AI social media post, I know. So you need to know how to use AI intelligently as a writer, as a creator, so that you don't lose yourself to artificial intelligence. If your reader, your audience, if anybody who knows you, see your writing anywhere, the person should be able to say, this is how Jenny writes. This writing is like the messaging of Mrs. Maureen. It's like the books of Ma Priscilla. You know, I've worked with a client who wanted AI editing. And before I did what that person wanted, I asked the person a question. I said, if you are interested in having your book to sound, like, I don't know the word now. If you feel like the English are so simple or things like that, and you want it to have some big, and all of those things. The matter is this: if you are called on a live event to talk about that book, to share the same story, to share the same insights that is in that book, will you still be the same person that people read in the book? Will you sound the same? Or will you become different from the message there? I don't know if you get my point. Because if you lose yourself to artificial intelligence, when you come face to face to talk about the same idea, we will see clearly that you were not the one who told us what you said in your book. You don't like this part, Abby? Eh? You don't like this part. So that is why I said no intelligent AI usage. It's a skill. You write the right prompt, you get the right answer. But when you don't come with any idea, you just want to come and you drop your brain somewhere, then you come and tell ChatGPT or Claude, I want to do this. How should I do it? You tell you, okay, this is how you should do it. You will copy and paste it and start doing it like that. Can you imagine? Don't ever catch yourself. Don't catch yourself relying on AI. Remember that scripture, Proverbs chapter 5, 3 verse 5 to 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding, neither lean on artificial intelligence. This is my translation. In all your ways, acknowledge the Lord and he will direct you. So that when you are thinking of what to call your book, how to do it, the offer to create, the name of that vision in your heart, you now leave the place of praying. You now leave the place of listening to your heart. You now leave the place of thinking. And now just go and ask ChatGPT, what should I call this thing? He will give you a name. Very soon, you even ask AI what you should name your child, and he will suggest name for you. Please, let me leave this matter. All right. So, in your journey as a creator, learn to use AI intelligently. Use it. Don't let it use you. Don't drop your brain. Don't drop your creativity. Ask intelligent question so that you can get the fitting, suitable response. And then even on the response, you still need to save it. You still need to save it. You still need to conceptualize it. You still need to make it resonate. You still need to edit it and make it come in your language, come in your unique voice. Because all the people, billions of people in the world, they are asking the same AI, the same question. So if all of us is just copy and paste, then there will be no originality again. We will just have carbon copies of things everywhere. Please, if you are serious about making impact, don't lose your voice, your uniqueness, your style to AI. Use it. Don't let it use you. I use it a lot. I use it. It doesn't use me. When I do my thing, you still see my creativity, my inspiration, my originality, my voice in what I'm doing. What I wrote here, everything I've been talking to you for over an hour. I was not browsing when I wrote them. I didn't use ChatGPT. I could go and type in ChatGPT. I'm hosting. Please mute. I could actually go and ask ChatGPT. Please mute Elijah Ido. I could actually go and ask ChatGPT or Claude and say, I am preparing for a webinar on editing beyond tenses. It's a 2 hours class. What should I talk about? And it will give me a good structural content. And I do that. That's fine. But I came tonight to really share with you my journey. All right? So I took my time without using my phone, without googling anything, and started thinking on what I have learned experientially on my journey as a writer, as an editor, as a coach. This is from my inside. If I give you what ChatGPT said, you can find that out yourself. But this is coming in my voice. And if you even check it, you will see similar points that is saying what I'm telling you now in other word usage. But you see how I'm passing the same information to you in my own language, in my style, in my voice, with my unique story, with my personality embedded in my communication. Please use AI intelligently. That is a skill. And in my course, Write to Wealth, the skill and business of writing, I'm going to talk to you about it before the end of the class. You can see my beautiful background. It's saying something, right? All right. There is a part, a whole module on integrating artificial intelligence in content writing. All right. So I know how to use them. I also know how to be myself. point number 6, prompt writing. That is also linking to the previous point now. So when you ask AI the right questions, you get appropriate answers. But many of the time, we don't even know what exactly we want to ask. Just like when I was saying edit nicely, it's a prompt somebody will use, and you are thinking that you're going to bring a masterpiece to somebody, you know. So prompt writing, be able to communicate exactly what you want it to do for you. If you want it to, do this, describe it well enough. I had tables, statistical summaries of a data set I'm working on for my project. And I've had this table for like weeks. I look at it, the figures are so much, I don't even understand some of the words. I don't know where to start studying to understand all the terms and interpret that statistical summary of a data of 100 responses. So on Monday, I went to meet one of my lecturers. So my challenge is that I don't know how to go about this. Like, I'm stuck. And he opened the Excel sheet, copied the table. I went and put it on ChatGPT and said, analyze. My brother, that is how AI analyzed everything and gave the summary of all the figures in the table, their implication, their academic, their educational application, their business application, everything. Like a joke, from not going back and forth with chapter 1 to 3. I submitted chapter 1 to 5 to my supervisor. He said, I didn't tell you to bring chapter 5. I said, sir, please just take it home and look at it. If I don't give you chapter 5, this chapter 4 will not make lots of sense. Look at the result, look at the analysis, and look at the, blah, blah, blah. I'm really hoping I convince him. So the skill of writing prompts. And then number 7 is SEO optimization skill, search engine optimization skill. For you to use the words, I mentioned that I think yesterday. For you to write in the language of your audience, you need to know what they look for when they are looking for the solution you are providing. You have to use those words. If not, they won't find you. They won't find you. You can't just start using big words. Like the kind of review one of us gave me, I laughed so hard. I don't even understand what he's saying. All right. I remember when I wrote my first book, I didn't know this thing from beginning, so we are all growing. I remember when I wrote my first book, My Story of Restoration, I sent the outline to my mentor. And then you can come in. I sent the outline to my mentor, and she was like, that's Coach Ogobeli. She was like, what's this? So do you mean I need to carry dictionary alongside to read the book? Didn't you say it's a story? So why are you teaching? That was the first person that gave me that insight that when you are sharing your story, let it be a story. Don't come and start preaching to us. The title of the book is My Story of Restoration. So instead of telling the story and let the message, the lessons I want to pass across to my readers to come embedded in my story, I left telling the story and was teaching them. From the chaptering, you already know that I'm a preacher. I was using big words. Instead of saying healing process, I would say brokenness. Oh my God, oh my God, don't you know Rema? I was using big words, big words. Like some of us, I have pastors on this call. Don't use those words you got from 40 days fasting and prayer to come and author book for us. All right. So you have to to speak simple English. When you want to take us to Greek and Latin words, just let us know so that we can bring our concordance and all of those lexicon close by. All right. So, what will your reader type on in search engine when they are looking for the answer that you have embedded in your book? Will that be typing let me not hurt my tongue. I don't even want to speak grammar. Okay. So, but I know you got what I'm saying. Skill number 8 is storytelling skill. And with all the things I've been showing you, with all these case studies we've been doing, I think I've been able to do justice to that. Please, no matter the nature of the message you are passing across, there is always a place of storytelling. It's a strategy. Even people who are doing marketing, you will see a car industry. You will see different industry that have business with telling stories. They now use storytelling to sell their products. Instead of coming to say, this car, the make is this, the make is this, the make is this, you will now see the way they will now start telling you story of Mark, how Mark was struggling, he was stranded with his family, did this and that and that and that. But when he now bought this car, they called the name, did this and this problem of getting stranded, did this. They will just use storytelling to tell you the description and unique value proposition of their products. I have a bundle I call The Power of Storytelling for Driving Business Growth. It has a worksheet and it has a business brand story audit. And it's part of the package of the bonus of the offer in my backdrop I'm going to talk to you about. That even if and you are selling services, you are selling products, there's a place of storytelling in what you are doing. You need the skill of storytelling to drive business growth. I was looking at my elder sister's status this evening, and she posted lots of beautiful clothes, as in designers. It's because she's my sister. That's why I had the patience to scroll to the end of that message, because I wanted to see what she is offering, so that I will know the one to tell her to please send to me without pay. Is it not good to have a big sister? But if it was not that it's my sister, I wouldn't have taken that time. And I intentionally did, so that I will view it and know where to come in to help her. Beautiful ladies' wears, but she just loaded the entire 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, up to 20 on a row. No other conversation, no client review, no story, no humor. My sister, you don't sell like that. All right? So even if this is not about writing, you are selling services, you are selling physical products, there's a place of skillful storytelling to really get attention and, drive your business growth. For many of us, we don't even know why we started the business. But that book on storytelling for driving business growth, there's an audio version of it. Then there's a book of it. Then I have the worksheet and brand story audit that will help you to find your story, your brand story, define your why, your triggers, so that when you are communicating with your audience, your prospects, your customers, they are able to connect with you. There are people I buy from not because of what they are selling in particular, but how I feel connected to them from their stories and how they present what they are selling. I can go to a far place, you know, to patronize that person. So that is by the way. Then we have language mastery. Language mastery. I will say it in two ways. Language mastery, first, on the matter of understanding the the expression and perspective your audience will be able to understand. And then language mastery in the second aspect is the use of the language you are using. So for example, now, language mastery as per English. All right. So you should language mastery of understanding, expression, communication, use of words, so that you are not saying something and we are hearing another thing, because what you are saying is different from what you mean. That is the two angles of the language mastery. Are you like writing down these skills? Then number 10 is communication skill expressed in written words. Communication skill expressed in written words. All these skills, I mentioned them up to 16. In my notes here, thinking about what are the skills I have seen myself employ over and over again as a writer on this journey, you know. That's how I wrote all these things. Then you have persuasive skill. You need a persuasive skill as a creator, as a speaker, as a writer, as an author. Because when you are writing a book, you really want us to believe you. You really want to cause a mind shift such that your reader may have believed a different thing, you know, may have been in a place, had some kind of limiting beliefs, you know, limiting thoughts and all of that. And then you are bringing this book to cause a mind shift, to cause a transformation. You need to be persuasive about it. You need to bring your message in with persuasive strength so that it's able to transform somebody's mind. You know what it means for somebody to let go what he or she has believed all his or her life simply because you said something in a line or two? It's not a day job. So, and that persuasive skill is built on the strength of authority and expertise and, you know, being in depth in the message you are sharing, in the topic you are talking about. If you are saying something and you are not saying it like somebody who knows what you are saying, or you are writing and you are not writing with authority, with expertise, with, you know, credibility, how do you want me to believe you? Then what I have believed all my life for about 3 decades, I should now drop it to believe you because you said a word. You have to be persuasive about it. So you have to be persuasive in your writing, okay? To be able to convince your reader to embrace the transformation you are communicating. All right? So logical reasoning. Then balancing expression of perspective with facts. And then authority exertion with respect. All right? So even if you are saying something that is a fact, there's a way you put it. You don't just throw it on your reader like, whether you like it or not, believe it or not, accept it or say no, I don't care. This is it. If you try this, you're going to regret it. They'll just close the book and keep it for you. Are you threatening or abusing them or cursing them? So even as you are communicating the facts, you have to communicate it with respect and emotional intelligence. You know how you can take correction. So you will not be writing a parenting, you'll not be writing book for teenagers or children because you are a mother of 5 or 6. Then you start scolding the reader, being the children inside the book, as if you are talking to your own children. And start telling them, you see this thing I'm telling you, if you don't do it. Oh my God, am I the only one on this call? Oh, you see this thing I'm telling you, as I'm telling you that you should not have friends that are like this, like this. If you don't do it, you will regret it. You regret it in your life until you get old. That's where that teenager is going to stop reading your book for you. And he will tell all his or her friends that you are an abuser, you are an intimidator. All right. So the same, it applies to any kind of audience you are writing for. Let's see your heart. You know, let's see your heart. Communicate that your intention, that you know, he said, I present to you this and this. This is of the options, but I cancel you. I wish, I pray, I hope, I advise that you choose life. So you don't just force your idea on people, force your ideology on people, and you just want them to believe you, and you threaten them something bad is going to happen to them if they don't agree to what you are saying. It's not like that. Please, I've seen it in books. There are some of the books I've worked on. Have to rephrase it, because your reader is ready to drop it at that point and even come and ask for refund. All right. So while you are exerting your authority, you exert your authority with respect. All right. And then number 15, listening skill. Listening skill. All right. Listen to yourself and listen to your intending readers or customers. You know, and if you are doing this as an editor, you need listening skill. Just like I told you, you should ask your client questions so that you understand their trigger for the idea, so that you'll be able to communicate on their behalf. And finally, questioning skill. I don't know the person who said that, but I know there's someone who said that if you ask the right questions, you will get the right answers. So ask your client the right questions, you will get the right answers. You need to produce a masterpiece. And if you are doing this for yourself, ask yourself the right questions that will help you to provide the right answers that will solve a problem for your clients. Just the way I sat down and said, I'm not going to ask AI what I should tell you in this meeting. I'm going to get into my own personal story, experiences, and draw inspiration. I asked myself, Jenny, what have you learned so far? What have you realized? What have you discovered on your journey these 3 years doing content plug? What have you learned? And I started writing these things. The skills I'm telling you, they are skills I have employed. I have, seen myself. I've had to apply. The things I said you need to know, they are the things I have learned. All right, the principles I shared with you, they are the things I have learned. So when you ask yourself the right questions, why am I doing what I'm doing? If not this, what will I be doing? Ask yourself, just like the exercise we did yesterday. Many of you didn't know, never thought of those things before. And now you realize that you have been sitting on gold, sitting on lots of insight and inspiration that can transform the life of other people, building a legacy. And not only that, a source of passive income, that even when you live here, there is something that you are leaving behind that can still continue to generate wealth for your children and your children's children. Who is publishing and republishing the book of My Tomorrow? He's not here. But you see podcast posts on Spotify, My Tomorrow, episode this. These are messages, these are content he created. And I tell you again, I told you this the first day, your content in this 21st century and centuries to come, your content is your legacy. If you cannot find anything about you in the online space, something durable that will not just be the one word you said to your neighbor in your corner, I don't know what you will live in. So your content is your legacy. Even if it is not on social media yet, you see notes like this. I was showing you my diaries. Your content, it may not be digitalized yet. Put them in notes, put them in tapes, put them in CDs. But thank God for technology. Why not go and put them on YouTube, put them on podcast, put them on Facebook, put them on Google Drive. Keep the email that is linked to the Google Drive, in a place that it will be seen. When you leave this earth, we will still go back and glean from your wisdom. That is your legacy, your content. So you can't afford to sit on them. So always take your time to meditate. Think. Deepen your self-awareness level by spending time with yourself. We spend time on social media, we spend time at work, we spend time in the kitchen, we spend time with everything and everywhere, but you don't want to talk with yourself. You can't just be quiet. Please, let me not start coaching session right now. I want to give the time for questions, and then I will drop you a bomb offer. I've got something for you. All right? So I'm waiting for your questions or your feedback. We have spent our time. Go ahead.